A very good afternoon to one and all present today for the online lecture of second year BCom semester 3 for the subject Business Administration. I warmly welcome one and all. Now, students, you are aware that we have been discussing quite a lot in BA already in so many lectures that we have had. I have explained you the entire unit 1. That is to say, we have covered three chapters, particularly talking about number one, human resource management, number two, EHRM, that is your electronic human resource management, and number three, we have also covered the aspect of human resource planning. So, with these three chapters, I can say that we have covered the first unit of BA of semester 3 very clearly, and the entire unit has talked about one aspect particularly, that has been human resource. So, students, I felt this would be the correct time to discuss one case with all of you pertaining to the same topic that we have studied up till now, that is pertaining to human resource and the management of human resource. So, all what you have studied up till now in all these lectures for the entire unit would help you understand the case better. I have already shared with you the case in the Google Classroom, and I had also told you to go through it once. So I hope that while attending the lecture, you have the case with you and you have already gone through the case once, so that it will help you understand the case better today and you would be able to understand the problems and the solutions to the same. So, students, today's lecture, the focus shall be to discuss the first case of this particular semester. And as I said, the case would briefly cover the aspect of what we have studied up till now, that is to say, pertaining to human resource management. Now, before we actually take up the case, I would just like to revise your memory. In first year BCom, also in both the semesters, we have been dealing with cases. I have made you solve number of cases. Probably this is the first time that we are solving the case by an online mode. Nevertheless, in case study, you are already aware that the entire case has to be broken up into three parts altogether. To give you a quick recap of what a case study is and what we need to do in it. Whenever there is a case study given in the exam, and as you know, case studies are coming as compulsory questions. So, in your exam, when the case study comes, you need to first of all read the case very clearly. You should be able to understand what the case is trying to tell you, what are the things involved in the case, which aspect of management is dealt in it, what could be the possible problems involved, and what suggestions can you give for the particular case. So, as you can see, the entire case is divided into three parts. The first being facts, second being problems, and the third being solution. So, for any case given, you have to first of all write down the facts. We have done this many a time, so I hope you are aware that the entire case had to be broken up into few points. And those points were nothing but the facts of the case. The information that is already given to you in para form can be converted into sentence form, points form, thereby to show the clear facts of the case. That is to say, what can we understand from the case. After having divided the case into few points of facts, now comes the another thing where you had to decide as to what are the possible problems that you can see in the case. What are the problems involved in the case? What are the loopholes that you can find out in the case? Because every case will have some or the other loophole, some or the other hidden problem involved, and you will have to bring out the same. Once you have decided the problems, for all the problems that you can see in the case, you have to now give some practical solutions for the same. Considering yourself as a manager and considering yourself in that position, you have to suggest some of the steps, some of the solutions that can be taken in order to avoid the problems suggested by you in the case. So these were the three parts, the three aspects of every case that we had solved. Even in this case, you will have to divide it into its facts, problems, and solutions. And students, in the case whenever there are few questions asked particularly, even those will have to be answered once you have given your answer for facts, problems, and solutions. You should also particularly answer those questions asked specifically. So before we understand the facts, problems, and solutions, I would like to bring up the case once again. So in case you haven't read the case in the Google Classroom yet, I would be giving you few minutes. You can read the case along with me. I would give you some time to analyze the case. I hope that you have done the homework and you have read the case, analyzed the case. But if not, then let us read it once again. As I would be reading the case, you can read also and try to see what the case is showing us. So, as you can see, Sri Vishal Kumar launched his own business. Prior to this, he worked as a supervisor with a global glass factory. Like common person, Sri Vishal was a man with revolutionary zeal. At the same time, he was also a traditionalist. He was a believer in the dictum, do yourself if you want the best. So I hope you understood that we are talking about a person. The case is talking about a person, Sri Vishal Kumar, who initially was working as a supervisor with one of the glass factory, but today he has launched his own business. He is a man with revolutionary zeal. He is an enthusiastic youth, but at the same time, he is a traditionalist also. He is from that old school mind where he believes in the dictum that do yourself if you want the best. Meaning to say, he wanted to do everything by himself, not delegating it to the workers. Let us go ahead. Having launched his company, he was the sole boss of his company. He never trusted the workers under him. The employees did not cooperate with him due to such treatment to them. Once, Sri Vishal met with an accident while blowing the glass himself. He was forced to proceed on a 2-week leave. So, as we have seen, because he launched his own company, he thought himself to be the sole boss. He never trusted the workers. He never put that trust onto the workers, never delegated much work to them. And definitely the employees didn't like such a kind of treatment and they didn't cooperate well. So thereafter, once he was when blowing the glass himself, he also caught with an accident and thereby had to go on 2 weeks leave. Now let us see what happened after he went on leave. So during his absence, his wife attended the company. She considered the employees an invaluable asset of the company. She believed that the goal can be achieved only through the development of the inner self of the employees. She briefed the employees that product manufacturing was a joint responsibility of all. So, as you can see, when Sri Vishal went on a leave as he had met with an accident, his wife attended the company. Now, the wife had a different kind of a mindset where she considered employees to be an invaluable asset and believed that one has to even work for the development of the inner self of the employees. The goals are achieved only when it becomes a joint responsibility of all. Since she herself was incompetent to decide by herself, she selected senior personnel for decision making on norms regarding productivity, quality, costing, and other matters. She used to arrive at a goal oriented decision based on the opinion of others. Since she had a rare knack of reporting and analysis of options, no pending order was left during the last 2 weeks. In spite of her lack in technical know how, she never shouldered responsibility beyond her efficiency. She delegated the responsibility of decision making to the subordinates in order of preference. So, as you can see, she was not as competent as maybe Sri Vishal was, but still she selected a senior personnel who can help her out in taking some key decisions. Also, she was always arriving at to a goal-oriented decision based on the opinion of others. She was having a knack of reporting, so because of such a quality, there were no pending orders left since the last 2 weeks. Also, she knew about what responsibility can she shoulder, beyond which she used to delegate it to the subordinates in the order of preference. So by now you might have understood this much, that on one hand where Sri Vishal was believing in the dictum that do yourself if you want the best, on the other hand the wife believed that work can be performed best if it is jointly done by all, and she believed in delegating the work to the subordinates rather than doing everything by herself. Lastly, after a couple of weeks, when Sri Vishal resumed his job, he was taken aback to see drastic changes in the old setup. His belief in the I supremacy came to be falsified. He acknowledged his wife's human approach to trust the employees of the company. So as we can see, after some time passed away and when Sri Vishal resumed his job, he also was shocked and surprised to see some drastic changes, how work was done in even better manner, irrespective of the wife not doing everything by herself. He always believed in the I supremacy. That was the belief that only he can do the things by himself best. But even that kind of belief came to be falsified. It was proved wrong. He also acknowledged what the wife's human approach was to trust the employees of the company. So, as you can see, the case is over, but there are some questions asked to you. So, they ask you which managerial problem is involved in the above case. So, definitely, as I said, every case will have the facts, will have problems, and will have the solutions supporting them. So, we also are asked problems specifically. And lastly, they have asked you a question: evaluate the lines of thinking of Sri Vishal and his wife. You need to give a comparative study. You need to evaluate the thought process of Sri Vishal Kumar and his wife, because while reading the case, you might have observed that the pattern of thinking of both husband and wife, that is to say Sri Vishal Kumar and his wife, is quite contradictory, is quite different from each other. Still, we see that results are quite better when the wife attended the job. So you are asked these questions particularly, but before you answer any question in the case, you need to give your facts, you need to give your problems and the suggestions, particularly for all the problems that you have stated. I hope that you might have even read the case when I shared it in the Google Classroom. If not, at least now with me, you have read the case and understood it. So you can just come up with few of the problems and suggestions for the same. Before that, as I said, the case would be divided into three parts. So first would be the facts. You need to begin every case by writing the facts. This is something that you usually miss out, and you usually start just answering questions asked in the case, or you just give the problems and suggestions. But facts are also an important part. I can say the first part to be mentioned in any case. So whenever you begin writing a case that is given to you in the exam, first jot down all the facts of the case. So for you, just to give you an idea, I have listed down all the facts of the case, so you can just have an idea how facts have to be written. As I always say, case studies are quite opinionated questions, and no case will have same sort of answers. So it is just an idea that I shall be giving you today, particularly for this case. You can come up with any other form of writing the facts or any other problem and suggestion over and above what you shall study in today's lecture. But let me give you an idea about all the facts, problems, and suggestions. So students, I have written down the facts for you. You may write it in a similar manner. Also, in today's lecture, I would advise you to have a book with you so that you can jot down few points in case you find them important. You can jot down some of the problems, some of the suggestions that I shall be mentioning in today's lecture. because at the end of the lecture, I shall also be giving you a homework to be done. So first of all, let us pay attention to the facts. You can see I have broken up the case into few points. Always make a thing that whenever you write facts, you write problems or suggestions, avoid para writing. The facts, problems, and the solutions have to be mentioned point by point, and even avoid using some bullets or using some arrows or some dots. Try and create a habit of using numbers. Number your facts, problems, and suggestions. Present it in a proper manner. So, now without any further discussion, I would just show you the facts that I have written down. So as you can see, I have started with the first thing, that is Shri Vishal, a man with revolutionary zeal, launched his own business, but prior to which he was working as a supervisor. He was a traditionalist and believed in the dictum, do yourself if you want the best. Number three, he launched his own company, so he was the sole boss, never trusted the workers, and the employees also did not cooperate with him due to such treatment. Once he also met with an accident while blowing the glass himself and was forced to proceed on a 2 weeks leave. During his absence, his wife attended the company. She considered the employees an invaluable asset of the company. She believed that the goal can be achieved only through the development of the inner self of employees. She briefed the employees that product manufacturing was a joint responsibility of all. She selected senior personnel for decision making. She had a rare knack of reporting and analysis, so no pending orders were there. She never shouldered responsibility beyond her efficiency. And after a couple of weeks, when Shri Vishal resumed his job, he was taken aback to see drastic changes, and his belief of I supremacy came to be falsified. So as you can see, I have broken down the case into few points. Now, because the case is big, you can see there are 10 points of facts. You may reduce it also based on the case and based on the facts given to you in the case, but make sure that this is a part of your case study. Now, students, I think enough of me discussing the case with you. You might have understood the entire case by now. I would give you some time in case you can come up with some of the problems that you feel are there in the case. As I said, the case is covering the first unit only, that is particularly human resource management. So something regarding that, some problems are there in how human resources are managed in this particular case. I hope that you had read the case once before the lecture and you might have come up with some of the problems that are involved in the case. So, let me first give you my analysis as to what are the possible problems that we can see in the case. Now, I would have enjoyed a one-to-one session for a case study, but nevertheless, I would be trying to explain you what could be the possible problems involved in the case. As I said, case studies are quite opinionated, so you may add on some more problems, some more suggestions you can give for the case, but today I shall be sharing you the problems and suggestions according to me that we can write down in the case. So let us first talk about what are the problems possibly that are seen in the case. So if we start from the very beginning, we have seen that Shri Vishal, being the sole boss of the company that he has himself launched, though he was a person with zeal and enthusiasm, he still was a traditionalist by heart. He believed in the old school philosophy that do yourself if you want the best. Meaning to say, he never delegated the work to the employees. There was no such delegation of authority and responsibility. And we have seen from very beginning that once you do division of labor, that is only when you bring specialization in work. But that is completely missing in this particular case. So that could be the beginning crux we can see from the case. Next, if we see, because he always wanted to do work all by himself, he never put that trust on his employees. He always distrusted them that they wouldn't be performing work well if designated to them. And because of that lack of trust, even employees didn't cooperate and coordinate well with him. Because definitely, when you don't trust your employees, when you don't give them that recognition, that appreciation, or that delegation of work, they won't cooperate much with you. And same thing happened even in this case and with Sri Vishal also. Now, after that, also, we can see that because he had that mentality of doing things by himself, he also tried to blow the glass himself. That was something to be done by a skilled person, a specialized person, an expert. But because he wanted to do everything by himself, he even took a chance of blowing the glass himself. That is a risky task, and with which he met with an accident, and he had to go on a leave also for the same. So it shows that because he was not delegating the work in order of preference and in order of skill, doing all by himself landed him only into that failure. Next thing what we see, that it was when the wife attended the company, she considered employees to be a valuable asset. So goes back to the same problem, that Shri Vishal couldn't think of the employees as an invaluable asset of the business. Maybe he treated them just like any other factor of production. That should not have been the case, because we have been studying in entire unit 1 that human resources are an important asset for any business organization. They are not just like raw materials or machinery. They have to be managed efficiently and effectively. Their skills have to be developed, and that is only when you can achieve your organization's goal. That was all about human resource management. So the same thing is lacking in this case, particularly. We can also say that he was not that democratic in terms of his leadership style. He was quite autocratic and was adopting a centralized kind of an attitude, whereby not delegating work to others. So, on this discussion, let me just show you a few points of problems. You can jot down the key points if you like. So this is the way you can present the problems for any case. As I said, you can of course change the pattern of writing. You can add some more words, you can add some more problems if you feel so in the case, but do mention the problems also in points and avoid para writing, as I said. So the above case initially represents the problem of centralization. Now it is good to go in a cyclic manner only. As you read the case, jot down the problems accordingly. So the first problem, according to me, is of centralization, where he, being a traditionalist, seems to be autocratic. As I said, he was from an autocratic mindset that everything has to be done by him, no delegation of authority and responsibility. So there is centralization seen instead of a decentralized environment. He was not delegating work onto the employees. So definitely this could be the first problem of concern, what you can write down. As a sole boss of his company, he always had distrust on his workers, thereby doing things all by himself. Now, as you can see, this was something very clearly mentioned in the case also, that he never trusted the employees, because of which even the workers were not cooperating with him. He failed to acknowledge the fact that human beings are an invaluable asset to any enterprise. He did not consider them to be the utmost important asset. Rather, he might have just treated them just like any other factor of production, maybe land, labor, capital. So he never trusted them and he never delegated the work onto them. Had he done that, it might have been possible that employees would have cooperated and coordinated well with him. But that was not the thing in this case. So, as you see, as a consequence, the employees did not cooperate with him. So, you can see how I have highlighted the key points in every problem. So, you may also highlight the main problem that you want to show in your point. So, I hope that you are clear with the problems that I have shown. And I hope that the same had come to your mind as well. Thereby, also when Shri Vishal blew the glass himself, he met with an accident and went on a 2 weeks leave. So even this is a problem that we can see in the case. Had he not blown the glass by himself, had he had done that from an expert or from a person who was skilled to do that, he might have not met with an accident and would not have gone on a 2 weeks leave. Even that is a problem that can be seen in the case. So the above incident clearly shows that Shri Vishal did not delegate the work as per the skills of the employees in the organization. Thereby, trying to do all the things himself, he ended up with such a mishap. So this is very clear that he might have delegated the work as per the skills, but he did not do so, because of which, as he just wanted to do everything by himself, it ended up in a mishap. So, absence of division of labor fails to impart specializations to employees in this case. This is some kind of a hidden problem that I have written, because we see there is no division of labor. So, you can also assume that because of the same thing, because of not delegating the work according to the skills, you would not be able to grant specialization and expertise to your employees. So, these are the possible problems that according to me are very much clear in the case. I hope you got all the problems correct, and you may add up any other problem that you feel would come in the case. So after having discussed with the different facts, different problems, possible problems that we can see in the case, now comes the third aspect. When you are showing problems in the case, you also need to give your solutions. So here comes the final aspect of every case study, where you have to give some suggestions, some solutions, possibly give at least one solution to every problem that you have mentioned. So basically, if I talk about the solution, the case is quite simple, as whatever the wife did later on, or whatever ideologies the wife had, were basically all the solutions Sri Vishal should adopt in case he wants to improvise the situation. To name a few, he might have trusted the employees. He should have delegated the work according to preference, according to the skills and capabilities. He should treat them a valuable asset. He should have not believed in the dictum of I supremacy. That is to say, he should not try to do everything all by himself. When you say that there is a centralized outlook in a problem, then give a suggestion of decentralization. There should be delegation of authority and responsibility. There should be such a trust that employees also should have cooperated with Mr. Vishal. So ultimately, what we can say the wife did are nothing but the suggestions even Shri Vishal could have gone for. So let me just show you all the solutions, the suggestions that we can give in the case. So in every case, after you mention the facts, you mention the problems, again mention the solutions. And as you can see, they have been mentioned point by point. So during the absence of Shri Vishal, his wife attended his company, and she was of a completely different and a progressive mindset, treating the employees as a valuable asset. So as you know, she had a different mindset, but it was quite different and it was quite progressive. She was not a traditionalist like Shri Vishal. She treated the employees as a valuable asset of the organization. She believed that the goal can be achieved only through the development of the inner self of employees, and considered the product manufacturing a joint responsibility of all. So, on one hand, where Shri Vishal did not think about the development of employees' skills, it was the wife who believed in that. She also had a rare knack of reporting and analysis, so there were no pending orders left. So even Shri Vishal could have opted this method, that is to say, he should have delegated the work and thereby he could have just taken reporting and doing analysis of options. So definitely, even under Shri Vishal's rule, the workers would have performed better. She never shouldered responsibility beyond her efficiency, but she delegated the responsibility of decision making to the subordinates in order of preference. So even Shri Vishal should have gone for the delegation of responsibility in order of preference, that is to say, based on the skills and the qualifications. Right person should have been placed at the right job at the right time. Since she herself was incompetent to decide by herself, she selected senior personnel for decision making. So one can see that the wife did not support her inefficiencies. She actually knew that if she was incompetent to do something, she selected senior personnel for the same. Instead of she being doing everything, she tried to delegate what she was not good at. So, as I said, thus even Shri Vishal should have a human approach towards his employees and must trust them. Basically, Shri Vishal should opt for all the suggestions and all the solutions that the wife had actually adopted during her rule in the company. Lastly, adopting a democratic style of leadership, he must delegate work as per their skills and capabilities, thereby imparting specialization. So, Sri Vishal should also have adopted a democratic style. When I say democratic style, he should not delegate every piece of work to employees. But he could have delegated work as per their skills and capabilities. He could have asked for their opinions and suggestions. Even they could have been made a part of decision making. So, as I said, division of labor would definitely give specialization to the employees. He should drop the I supremacy and should understand that the work suits in the hands of the one skilled to do it. If someone else does it, he is sure to mess it up, which he surely did in the above case. In the above case, we very well saw that Sri Vishal wanted to do everything by himself. So basically, when you do everything by yourself and you don't delegate the work to the one who suits it best, you are definitely going to mess up everything. And that is what even Vishal did in the above case. So I hope that you very well understood the case. You understood how you need to write the case. That is to say, how one can design facts, problems, and can come up with the suggestions. Because you already know the problems, you know the suggestions by now. If you remember, there was a question that was asked to you in the case. I would just show you that first. So as you see, there are two questions. First, that is which managerial problems involved in the above case. So we have very well depicted all the different problems in the case. Lastly, they also asked you evaluate the lines of thinking of Shri Vishal Kumar and his wife. That is to say, you should write at the end an answer where you would show the contradictory thinking process of both Shri Vishal Kumar and wife. By now, you already know what was the thought process of Vishal and what was the thought process of his wife. So the same thing you should evaluate in this answer. Ultimately, we need to show that the thought process of the wife was quite correct, and you need to give a comparative study of both of them for this answer. So with the help of problems and suggestions, I hope you are very well clear. It would give you some time. You can have again a look at whatever we have done in the case. We first designed the case into different facts, as you can see. We also saw the different problems in the case. We saw the possible solutions one can give for the case. That is to say, how Sri Vishal should have opted for the ideologies of his wife and thereby should have improvised on his role in the organization. So students, I hope that you are very well clear with what we have done today. This was the first case study that we have done, particularly in this semester, because as we finished with the first unit, I thought this was the correct time to even explain you the concept of Unit 1 better by understanding it through a case study. Now, as I said, I would be giving you a homework today. What you need to do is you already have the case with you in the Google Classroom, which has already been shared with you in advance. Today's lecture also explained you the case, and I gave you my point of view about the case, the possible problems and suggestions that I could think about. But definitely, a case study could have number of problems and suggestions based on your thinking. So what you need to do is you have to draft the problems, the suggestions could be the ones which I have explained you today, could be some extra problems that you can find out in the case, or some solutions that you would like to give in this particular case. So please take up that case study that is given to you in the Google Classroom, read it once more, try to analyze the case at your own if you have not done up till now. Take a paper, write down all the problems, write down all the possible solutions that you can give for the case, and thereby you should share it with me in the Google Classroom, and I would be pleased to see your answers for the same. So do share your answers, do share the problems and suggestions that you have come up with in the case in the Google Classroom, and I would be very happy to know all the answers. With this, I end the lecture today. See you soon in the next lecture, where we shall be starting with the second unit. That is to say, we would be commencing the fourth chapter that would talk about career planning and executive development. Thank you so much for the day. Until then, happy learning.